Hi my loves, here's your cosmic weather report for the week ahead. Now, I want to start off this report by saying that this time of year can feel quite conflicting. Everything around us in nature now is drawing back into the earth. We're entering the deepest, darkest time of the year. So nature's fully started to turn inwards. Everything is going inwards, stilling, coming back to the earth. And it's the time of year that we most push against nature. So when everything about our kind of animal instincts is about cozying in, going inwards, resting, nurturing, nourishing, we find the whole world around us, the material world around us, comes to life. And there is noise and lights and parties and invites and busyness. And so you might be feeling a little bit of that in yourself, where there's a need to want to really draw inwards and hibernate, and equally this feeling of being pulled outwards. And so it's really important now at this time of year, especially as we move into Sagittarius season next week, to find that balance between being and doing. And there's an awful lot of astrology next week that's really, really going to support us in being able to do that. So we start the week on Monday with a first quarter moon in Aquarius. Now, as I've just mentioned, a first quarter moon is normally the time of the lunar cycle where we want to be seen, we want to shine, we want to be out there in the world, we want to be saying yes to everything. But you might be feeling a depletion of energy, a need to draw inwards, a need to rest. Now, with the moon in Aquarius, there's always a real call for a deep freedom and authenticity, the call to truly be you. And so as we start this week, it's almost like we're setting the tone for how we're going to continue through this next season as everything starts to draw inwards and we're called to be more outwards. The first quarter moon in Aquarius might not necessarily be an outer revolution where you're going out there and putting things into the world. It might be, you might be filled with energy after that Mars Cassimi and really, really ready, in which case use the energy and do it. But if you're feeling a pull inwards, a tiredness, a slowing down, it may be that the first quarter moon in Aquarius is calling you to have an inner revolution of freeing yourself to be you, to say yes to what you want to say yes to and no to what you want to say no to being authentically you in this next season. For some of you, the ideas of constant parties and invites and being busy is going to fill you with the most amount of joy. And for others, it's going to fill them with dread as they want to draw inwards and everything feels like it's calling them outwards. And so this first quarter moon, I would say, use it as a little mini inner revolution. What is it I really want from this next season? How am I feeling entering into this next season? And how am I going to stay really true to me and authentic to me, no matter what the outside world is calling for? You might also find this first quarter moon in Aquarius, especially after we've just been through that big Scorpio new moon and the Mars Cassimi, there might be an inner revolution of just freeing yourself to the point where you're suddenly tired of your own dramas and other people's dramas. You're tired of where you're holding yourself back. You've had enough of just being small and playing small, or agreeing with things you don't agree with, or go along with things that you don't want to go along with. There might be just an inner revolution of like, I've had enough of this and I don't want to do this anymore, and I want to step into more of me and who I am and what I want. So use Monday to really kind of set the tone of the week ahead. And the week ahead is going to really then set the tone for us moving into a next season. Now, Tuesday, we've got a lot this week of healing, setting boundaries, and real inner exploration, inner journeying, inner knowing. So this begins on Tuesday when Mercury trines Chiron. This is going to be a beautiful day for using the power of your words for healing. And so that might mean having vulnerable conversations with people in your life, especially if over the eclipses, over the Scorpio new moon, over the Mars Cassimi. Remember that Mars Cassimi, and I did quite a few posts about it if you want to go back and have a read of them. But that Mars Cassimi was really talking to us through our emotions. And so you might have felt a lot of frustration coming up, anger coming up, a sense of being really, really stuck in the places in your life that have been restricting you a little bit. And so if you've been noticing a lot of that coming up, and life areas that need a little bit of attention, or things in your life that aren't working, Tuesday is a really beautiful day then to have those conversations. You'll be able to find the words to be able to say what it is that's on your heart, what it is that you need, to go deep into vulnerability and to also be able to hold other people's vulnerabilities and wants and needs and desires. And so on Tuesday, really allow your words to bring a lot of healing and spiritual awakening as well. So it might be that you really journal on what it is that you've been feeling, what those feelings have been showing you and telling you, how you want to move forwards differently, knowing what you felt. It might be that you use the words to speak to someone, to say how it is that you're feeling, to speak what's on your heart. So really use those energies for a lot of healing. Now, Wednesday, we're still in those Chiron energies, Chiron being the wounded healer. Wednesday, we get Venus opposite Chiron. On the same day, we get Mars meeting Pluto, and we also move into Sagittarius season. So the sun will move into Sagittarius on Wednesday. So the middle of the week is a big, powerful kind of energy day. First of all, Venus meeting Chiron is going to show you where you do still seek too much validation, approval and permission from the outside world. And so that could highlight kind of bits of FOMO, of where you feel like you should be saying yes to things and you should be pushing yourself out there more and you should be doing more. So there might be a lot of shoulding come up on Wednesday. What you might also feel is that Sagittarius season really takes us into the ability to envision our future, to think outside the box, to find that bigger picture thinking, to expand our horizons, to really feel into what's possible for us. Sagittarius brings a lot of optimism. And so as Venus opposes Chiron on this day and Mars meets Pluto in a sextile, you might also notice Venus is around a lot of self-worth and self-belief, especially meeting Chiron. So it might be that these dreams and desires are within you. They've been within you all year. That Mars Cassimi might have highlighted a bit more of where you're not letting yourself move in the direction you want to go, or expand into where you want to expand, and where you've maybe spent almost a whole year again thinking about how you want to make change and not done anything about it. And so you're going to be able to really see where perhaps your lack of self-worth or self-belief holds you back from truly believing you can have everything that it is that you want. So again, pay attention around the middle of the week, around where you are looking to the outside world for permission to be able to follow your dreams, approval over what it is that you want to do with your life, and where you are people pleasing or agreeing to things that aren't necessarily in alignment with your values because you want to please everybody else around you. Now on Thursday, the Sun trines Saturn. So this is really interesting. We've just moved into Sagittarius season. Sagittarius season gives us that ability to start to envision the future. And what we want to be looking for now is looking towards next year. And this is where things get interesting. Sag season helps us to expand our vision, to look forwards to what we want. And nature all around us now is coming into hibernation and stillness. And although we think everything in nature is dying around us, what's actually happening is as nature withdraws, nature beneath the surface is gathering all the nutrients, all the nourishment, all the sustenance, everything nature needs to be able to grow again come next year. And so this season is that delicate balance between that, journeying inwards rather than outwards, journeying inwards to feel into what is it that I want? If I believed anything were possible, what would that be? If I were going to allow myself to expand into the biggest version of me, who would that be? How would I show up? What do I want for my life next year? How do I want next year to be different to this year? What is it I really, truly want? But then rather than perhaps pushing out there, really feeling, what do I need to draw to me now? How do I need to nourish myself and nurture myself and gather myself and take care of myself to ensure that future me has got all that they need to be able to move into what it is that I really want? And so Thursday is the Sun trines Saturn. This is now a day for setting goals around what you want, those future goals around, okay, I've thought about this all this year, I'm going to make it happen, this is what I want for next year. And then what do I need to be doing now to ensure that that happens? And that might not, as I keep mentioning, be external things. It might be journeying inwards. It might be spending more time in your inner world, believing in yourself, trusting in yourself, and gathering towards yourself. It might be studying something new, learning something new. Sagittarius is all about learning and gathering new information and wisdom. So it might be that you say to yourself, do you know what, over winter now, I'm going to study and I'm going to gain this qualification so that next year I can begin this, I can start this, I can grow into this. So what do you need to be gathering towards yourself? So on Thursday, set those goals, set those future goals, but make sure you know what you need to be doing now to be able to achieve those goals. And then also set boundaries around your time and energy. What are you willing to give? How much have you got to give? How full is your tank at the moment? Because if your tank is almost an empty, you don't want to be saying yes to 74 invites that are coming your way. You want to be really discerning with what is it that I'm available for right now. Now, Friday, Mars joins the Sun and moves into Sagittarius. And so this is going to give us, Mars is that planet of motivation, drive, desire. As we know, Mars has just met the Sun in that Cassini. And now as they both move into Sagittarius, it is now about expanding future horizons, about finding within you the real belief of, do you know what, I can have what I want if I just gather this or learn this or draw this to me or ask for this help there or do this there or spend some time really in meditation and inner journeying and inner exploration. And it's that real beautiful balance between the journey but the inner journey, to really exploring your inner world. What gets in the way of me really going after my dreams? Where have I got in my own way this year? Where have I said, oh, I'm going to do that, I'm going to start that, I'm going to create that? And where has it not happened? And how can I now journey inwards to hold those parts of me that are perhaps afraid or unsure or uncertain? And with that Venus and Chiron energy, how can I stop looking to the outside world for approval and validation and permission? And how can I find it in here? That self-knowing, that self-trust, that self-belief. And so again, we're going to find this real motivation and drive and desire to move towards future goals, but a lot of the work's going to be inwards over this season rather than pushing too much into the outside world. And this is shown to us again because on Saturday, Mars meets Saturn. So Saturn is that planet of boundaries, restrictions, control, but Saturn is also the teacher of the zodiac, and Saturn is what gives us the endurance and the strength and the perseverance to get what we want. So on Saturdays, Mars then meets Saturn. Saturn's almost like, whoa there, Mars, I know what it is that you want. I'm going to give you now the strength and the endurance to get what you want, but that's going to come from taking some rest now, because if you just run out into the world now when everything's calling you inwards, you're not going to have the energy to make these things happen next year. So Saturn again brings us a boundary around our time, our energy, our going inwards, and balancing what we do say yes to, making sure that we do enjoy this season. We do enjoy the Christmas and the lights and the fun and the parties, but we also give ourselves enough inner time to gather what it is that we need to be able to create what it is that we want. And so as Saturn again comes in with that boundary, Saturn is going to say, I'm going to give you the endurance and the strength and the vision to get what you want, but that's going to come through deep rest, nourishment, gathering nutrients, gathering wisdom, taking your time, making the plan. And so as you can see, this next week and over these coming weeks now, there is that almost push-pull energy where the outside world is going to cry for your attention and pull you in a million different directions. But if you give all of your energy out there, you're not going to have the energy to give in here to those hopes, those dreams, those desires that Sagittarius is helping you to see and expand into and envision for your future. So find that balance, set the tone this week for how the rest of the Sagittarius season is going to go by what do I have the energy to give to, and where do I need to draw back and give a bit more of that energy to myself? Because if you deplete all your energy over this season, you are not going to have the energy to grow what it is that you want to grow in your life next year. So find that balance. This has been a little bit of a longer weather report than normal, but as you can see, we had so much big astrology going on this week, and I wanted to just give you the insights as to what the skies are asking of us. It's like vision it, dream it, the motivation to do it, but the motivation that comes from in here first, from gathering what it is that you need. So As always, I really hope this has helped you to plan your week ahead. I appreciate all your likes and shares and comments because they do help to get this message out there further. And the more of us that know this, the more of us that can live in that JOMO, the joy of missing out, as we perhaps just close the door on the outside world just a little bit and use that time to journey inwards to really give ourselves everything it is that we need. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you all really soon.